All right, y'all. I'm live. Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of hashtag CB99 Talks. And it is episode 120. Wow, man. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to get on last night. I was busy and getting that grind in. So I said let me jump on today, even though I am a little under the weather. I mean, the weather man has been changing. It's crazy. Like what was it like last week out here? It was like in the 60s and 70s. It was like spring already. But the past few days it's been like I'm talking about like winter cold. I mean, I know it's still winter, but it's been like probably the coldest it's been in the winter. Like it wasn't even this cold in December, I don't believe. I mean, it's like supposed to be, hold on, I think like 20 degrees. Let me check. I think it's supposed to be like a low of 29 tonight where I'm at. Let me see. Hold on. No, 40s, but tomorrow's supposed to, yeah, 30s. It's supposed to be in like the 30s here. And then it's supposed to be in the lower 30s, like 30 or 29 tomorrow. So, yeah, with me still recovering and this stuff, I'm about done, but I think that's one of the reasons I kind of feel a little under the weather because I usually don't I usually don't get sick though. I honestly don't. I mean, don't really get sick. I think the last time was like 4 or 5 years ago, whenever like felt like I was about to catch a cold or anything, man. But yeah, it's been kind of crazy. Let's see in the chat. Lafayette said where I live is colder in March than it was in February. Yeah, it is, man. Like February wasn't too bad. Like I didn't have to like break out 2 or 3 jackets. I didn't have to dress in layers, but yesterday I had to kind of put on some layers, man, and then I started feeling little, you know, little like I was coming down with the cold. I was like, man. Now I know somebody else like was about to catch pneumonia. So it's been weird, man. So I think it's just, this weather is really, really changing. I know some people that are snowed in somewhere. I can't remember where they are, but they're like snowed in. So it's kind of crazy right now, man. I don't know what's going on with this this weather this year. I'm glad I didn't get any snow though, for sure. But yeah, February wasn't that cold here, man. But anyways, like I said, a little under the weather, but I'm just chilling tonight, man. I ain't going anywhere. I think this is a way of saying that you got to sit down and. For a change. Um, but I am gonna get on later and do this Invicta card because I'm gonna be laying back watching that. So yeah. Anyways, glad to see some of y'all in here. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Sing said, "What's up? What's up?" Few things I just wanted to talk about, man, in this episode. I want to talk about some of the fights last weekend. A few fights I know some of y'all didn't get a chance to check out. Some underground WMMA and the Lipsky Aldrich fight. Somebody asked me some questions about it. I said, all right, I'll talk about it again. I mean, what you want to know, Um, like I said, Invicta FC 52 is coming up this weekend. Not this weekend, tomorrow, today. See, listen to me, man. Like the days are getting mixed up, man. Tonight, I just said that Invicta FC 52 is tonight. Is in about less than 6 hours now, right? And y'all have no excuse to say you can't watch it. It's free on YouTube, so only if you fall asleep or if you working. But even then, you should be able to pull up YouTube and play it in the background, right? So I'm gonna go over the Invicta FC card with y'all for y'all that want to be hip to some of these new fighters on this card. And then I want to talk about, I want to go over some of my favorite fights, over the past 10 years in the UFC for WMMA, just real quick. Because somebody had missed some of y'all had missed the other show. I was just kind of talking about, 10 years in WMMA and the impact on it for me and just like MMA period. So we can talk about that. Manoan and Aaron Blanchfield. And then this fight card coming up this week, we got like 3 flyweight fights. So yeah, y'all can't complain. I can't complain. We got a lot of good fights coming up. You know, um, Machado should get signed if she wins tonight. For sure, we'll talk about that. Most definitely. She's been looking like a solid technician out there. She's getting better. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, this past weekend, man, I know some of y'all had seen these couple fights I want to talk about, man. This Combate. Well, first off, Hexagon 7. I know some of y'all, if y'all ever want to like watch something besides the UFC or Invicta or LFA, there's a Hexagon MMA. And this past weekend, for some of y'all don't know, this is a Muay Thai fighter I follow, Shanelle Dyer. Okay. Shanelle Dyer just made her MMA debut this past Saturday for Hexagon MMA. And she was taking on this fighter I've seen before from Palace Athena, Veronica Esder. And Shanelle Dyer, this is how you make a statement when you win your debut, man. You come in there and you score a knockout like this. See, early on in your career, you can get fancy with spinning back fists and spinning back elbows like this. You want to get a highlight knockout. You want to wow the crowd. So Shanelle Dyer, she was measuring Ezer, measuring it. Both of these fighters are kind of long. They both were using their Muay Thai stances and front kicks, trying to score body shots. But it was Shanelle Dyer who closed that distance, stepped in mid-range, and as Veronica came in with the chin wide open, y'all see Shanelle Dyer score this big elbow right here. Boom. Knocked the girl out. And I was like, wow. That was definitely a highlight for her debut. I mean, that's the type of knockout you want in your professional debut. So shout out to Shanelle Dyer. Yeah, I've been watching her for a minute on the Muay Thai circuit, and yeah, a few of her amateur fights as well. I thought she was already professional at first when I was checking out some of those fights, but then they announced this was her professional debut. I was like, oh, okay, okay, yeah, I get that. She's only like 20, 21 years old. So she's been racking up a number of fights. I think she's fought for Cage Warriors, underground, you know, amateurs. So she's got a number of fights under her belt. I think she actually see y'all brought up Shauna Bannon. I think she actually fought Shauna Bannon when she was a amateur, when she was an amateur fighter. So yeah, this is what you like to see. She's had like over 10 fights, boom, busted into the professional with a good solid spinning back elbow like this, man. So yeah, shout out to Shanelle Dyer. Hope to see her, rack up some more wins, maybe jump to Invicta one day. That's a good move for a lot of these young ladies. I believe she's going to be a flyweight. So hopefully, if she stays sharp, flyweight in the UFC could be her home, maybe in like another 3-4 years. And I say 3-4 years because there's no rushing. She's only 21 years old. I know Erin Blanchfield is 23 and she's already in there, but Chanel Dyer, there's no need to rush it. She's a good Muay Thai fighter and stand-up fighter, but always got to work on your ground game. This game is getting very, very deadly, when it comes to these fighters in their ground game. So no rush for Chanel Dyer. This was only her first fight, but I definitely want to see more knockouts like that. Definitely pull you in. But I'm gonna put the link here if y'all ever want to look at what I'm talking about with there we go. Yeah, that's the link for Hexagon. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Brian said he's seen a couple of amateur fights on YouTube. Yeah, you can find a lot of her stuff there. Her Muay Thai fights. Gabby said Dyer wants to fight 5 times this year. Recently said in an interview mentioned 115 will be her weight class. Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, yeah, at this level, you can fight 5-6 times a year. You can, as long as it's a good level of competition and not too steep. You're not taking too many hard fights, right? You still want to take somebody on your level and maybe somebody with a lot of fights, maybe a lot of losses, but not as many wins, just to kind of get your feet wet. And honestly, yeah, 115 would look like her weight. 115 does look like her weight. When I saw them in there, yeah, definitely look like straw weights, So I know they got her listed as a flyweight, but in the fight was at flyweight, but they do look like straw weights. There was the main event too on this Hexagon card too. Was a flyweight championship fight. Samantha Jean Francois versus Adressa Rocha. I actually got to go back and watch that one, man, because like my connection kept messing up on that fight. But Francois won the title via rear naked choke in the 5th round. I was in and out on the fight, but I'm gonna have to go back and look at that one. So yeah, that's good. See, you got a main event, WMMA fight main event, over all these other men fight. So that's letting you know that some of these women they're putting themselves on the map. They're definitely putting themselves on the map here. Combate. Had to talk about this Jay Giron. I know it was Brian. Somebody had asked me about this fight, Jay Giron versus Irene Cabello. And yeah, I wanted to talk about it because I watched it again 2 days ago, and that was a good fight. Good action-packed fight, man. I seen Jay Giron fight for Bellator, and she's still growing, she's still young, and I saw her fight. Was her name Monica Koklakova, and get put in a scorpion, and man, that was the first time I seen that done before. But since then, she's bounced back. She's definitely back on the back on track here. That was like her debut, Scorpion Crunch. Um, but stepping in with this veteran and Irene Cabello, I think Irene Cabello's been out for like 3 years, you know, but she has like 9 wins, 6 losses. So, but she's stepping in there with a veteran. But I think Jay Duran, she put on a very, very good performance in this fight. I mean, this fight was a banger. This fight was a banger, but at the same time, I thought Jade was controlling it. She was controlling this fight. Jade, she just met in the center against Irene, blasted her out with these right hands, bouncing in and out with combinations. Jade, I thought she was hitting, you know, with much more power in this fight. Jade, she looked like the stronger fighter. She was younger, but she's the one that actually was coming with that energy, just going in there, in and out, measuring her range well to get off the harder shots. And she even takes Irene down. And I think it was there was an illegal knee in this fight. I think it was like in the first round. Irene got hit with an illegal knee, but didn't really affect the fight. Uh First round, man, both fighters, I ain't gonna lie, their heads were snapping back. But it was Jay Duran who I think was landing the better shots and she was doing more damage. And even in the clinch, it was Irene Cabello that was trying to clinch in this fight to stop these punches, but Jay Duran was just too strong for her, Jay just jabbing Irene's head off in that second round too. I was looking back at it, like I said, a couple of days ago. Um, and the thing is, like, you can't stay on the outside with that type of pace because Jade is faint and she's being first. Like, if you're gonna stay on the outside, you got to let a jab go or something. So when Irene sees that's not working, she starts looking for takedowns, but Jade wasn't going down. And again, Jade controlling these clinches with knees to the body, kind of like how who was that we were watching? Arian Lipsky was doing JJ Aldridge also this weekend. Jade was landing some hard knees to the body. And I thought she's about to get the finish, because like when she broke, she landed some good shots, good barrage. I thought the referee could have stopped it. Like Jade was really teeing off on Irene. She was just leaking. This girl was leaking in this fight. But what I was really impressed with was Jade's cardio. Jade had that cardio in this fight, man. She was just solid, like bouncing in between rounds, ready to go, ready to end it. Irene, she was a bloody mess, like leaning on the girl, and she was just like pouring blood. She was just pouring blood. So I got to give credit that she was still in there, but she was getting pieced up. There's only so much credit I can give for just staying in the fight. Like, if you ain't doing much, hey, Irene was looking bad, but Jade, she still never let up all the way to the end. Like, she didn't want no comfortable decision. She wanted to finish. She wanted to finish, but didn't come, but she finished the round strong. So yeah, shout out to Jay Duran, man. That was a good fight. I think it was at a catch weight. What was the catch weight? Let me check here. Thought it was like a strawweight fight, but I think it was like 110. 110. So yeah, this was a co-main event. And that's what I'm saying. Like, y'all can't miss out with these WMMA fighters. They're gonna come to fight. They're putting on good performances. So, you're gonna see more and more women get to the top like this, and no problem with that for me. I think a lot of casual fans going to start to enjoy fights like this. As long as the women put on performances, on this level, they'll continue to be main events, co-main events, and pretty soon you just start tuning in to these fighters like anybody else. Let's see. Brian said you can tell Irene is a pretty good fighter. Definitely has heart, but Jay was just too fast. Yeah, she's a good fighter. Like, I've seen some of her fights. Irene's a good fighter. Jay was just on a mission, man. Like, these punches that you see here, like the way she was, just cocked and ready to go. She wasn't letting up. Like, she was just firing down the pipe. Everything she was throwing had bad intentions, bad intentions on it. So yeah, I want to see more from her. Definitely a fan, and I know you are now, Brian. I know you're a fan of this young lady here. Hopefully, Combate brings her back. If she's at 110. I'm trying to decide, like, does she go down to 105 or did she go up to 115? Probably 115. Put on 5 more pounds. Maybe she might carry some more power up. But 110 looked good on her. I mean, it's a catch weight, but 110, she looked to have the power and the gas tank, so I don't know, maybe Maybe 115's got to be it, but she is a small frame strawweight. She is. So was Melissa Martinez. She was a small one too. Gabby said, "Oh, okay. Oh, Dyer mentioned 125 is a walking around weight. Okay, okay. But yeah, yeah, those were a couple of fights that I was checking out this weekend. Like I said, that main event, I want to watch again. But what did y'all think? Like my final thoughts on this fight between Lipsky and JJ Aldridge. Jackson, what's going on, man? My final thoughts on this fight between Lipsky and JJ Aldridge. Like I was telling somebody the other day, it's like that's pretty much how it goes on this level. Like when you got two fighters like Lipsky and Aldridge, you can't really just say, "Oh, this is it." Like this is the direction they're going. Like every now and then, Lipsky's there. Sometimes he's not. Aldridge is there. Sometimes he's not. Right. And I'm not disrespecting them. I mean, I'm just saying off of performances because that's how it is. I mean, they're human, right? And the record shows that they are there on a certain level of fighters, but when they got to step it up, sometimes they come up short. Um, I just thought I had to go with JJ Aldridge in this fight, man, because I thought she's had more levels to her game. She's trained with also trained with top level fighters, and she just looked really, really good in her last couple fights. Even the Aaron Blanchfield fight, she came up short in that fight. But what it came down to that I wasn't really looking at for once in this fight. Hang on. What I didn't really look at in this fight, which I had to slap myself for not looking at this, is Aldridge probably lost this fight because she hasn't really fought that many strikers, like back to back like that, or even like a mix of strikers. If you look at her last few fights, those are like grapplers. Girls are going for the takedown. I think the last striker she fought like was Mazo, and she lost. She lost to Mazo. So that was my fault. I should have went back and looked and said, "Oh wow." And before that, she had lost to a clubber in Macy Barber, right? She was winning the fight with Macy Barber, I think, in moments like she dropped Macy Barber and she was rocking Macy Barber, but Macy came back, And yeah, that's what it is, her head movement. Like, if you go back and look, not taking her head off the line, like she's a good striker, but that's that one key element of her own, like her defense. She's getting hit with big shots. So look at this. I'm gonna go back to the resume. Yeah. JJ Aldridge, Macy Barber. Okay, she lost to her. Sabina Mazo, Muay Thai fighter. Close fight, she lost to her. She beat Courtney Casey, Demopoulos, and G Rob. All fighters that aren't really known for like great technical stand up. She was winning the fight with Aaron Blanchfield till she got submitted, right? According to everybody, she was winning that first round, right? She was winning that first round, but she lost that fight. That was the exception. But Lipsky, much more fluid, faster on her feet, power. Never really Lipsky's a fighter I never really like had trouble or never really questioned like her stand up. It was just like her overall MMA game, like stopping takedowns and the ground game. Yeah, she can submit you, but she still has issue with other grapplers, right? So this kind of was like a style matchup thing. JJ Aldridge hasn't fared that well against other strikers, man. So yeah, even if you are a striker, that doesn't mean you'll do well against strikers. As Valentina, right? Against Grasso, she's fought a lot of fighters that come to do something, or I'm not sure what they're trying to do against Valentina, but this is the first time Valentina's fought an actual striker that actually was there to strike with her and outstrike her, right? So yeah, that think that's what it was for JJ. JJ just wasn't prepared to fight another striker again. And of course, we got to give credit to Lipsky. She did improve, like for one, her stand up was much more fluid. It was kind of like you could see what she's been doing with Amanda Nunes. Like her calf kicks were flowing. Um, her straight punches, they were even tighter. Even tighter than before. I think her next element that she added was her takedown defense that I was enjoying. How she was stopping JJ and quick to land these to the body. So, and she was fighting with intensity too, man. Like that's the thing about Lipsky. Like she throws with intensity. Like she's not really gun shy. Even in her losses, like I don't really consider her gun shy or, that type of tentative fighter. She just needed to start putting it together, and I think she's doing that. I mean, I still wouldn't put any money on it, but we'll see where she goes, man. We'll see where she goes from here. Like I said, sometimes with these fighters, it's just like that scale. I don't know which way they're going with it. Lipsy's supposed to be training with a man in her new gym. We'll see how that goes. She's leaving ATT, who she's been with for 2 years. We'll see if that works out. I guess Lipsky versus. I've always wanted to see Lipsky versus Gatto or something like that. Let's see her in there with a grappler, somebody with really good jiu-jitsu. Lipsky versus Gatto. Yeah, that's a good fight. And since JJ Aldridge lost now, then I would say Montana De La Rosa, because they're both on 2-fight losing streaks. Yeah, Montana versus JJ Aldridge would probably be a good fight now. Yeah, I'll take that fight now. Like if she had won, no, I would have said maybe a top 15, but now that makes sense. Excuse me, that makes sense. Let me see. Lipsky did change a little bit, Marcus said, but I'm gonna see what she does going forward. Right, her stand-up was good, of course, but it was her added takedown defense. That was a much improved element that I noticed. And it was also not just defense; it was offense to it. She was landing knees to the body, right? So yeah, that's my take on that, man. Like I just think JJ was not prepared to fight another striker. Lipsky came to fight this time and said, "Hey, I ain't taking no for an answer." Right? That's what it is. Okay. What else we got going on though, man? Yeah. Like I said, man, the other day we were talking about, the few people that had missed a live. So y'all messaged me. We were talking about 10 years in WMMA in the UFC. 10 years of women fighting in the UFC now. It marked last month, like, what was it, February 23rd, like 2013, the Ronda Rousey and Liz Carmouche fight. And yeah, man, I gotta say, throughout the past 10 years, I definitely say that there have been a lot of memories. There have been a lot of memories of watching the women fight in the UFC. And I knew it had to be that way because even before it was in the UFC, I was always enjoying it because, like I said, the women, they're bringing of course they bring the same element as men, coming to compete, coming to fight because they all train together too, right? But there was just something about some of the early women that I remember watching that they were bringing like another level of excitement. All right, BJ said he's at work listening. Appreciate it, man. What's going on, man? Like, before you go back to work, BJ, like, what do you think, man? Like, don't you believe like the women brought another level of excitement than the men? Like, and that's just how it is to me. Like, I know they all fight, but it seems like the women were feeling like they had to try harder, so they were putting on more exciting fights at times. And I ain't knocking the men now, definitely not. I mean, they they got some of the greatest fighters out here, that I'm fans of now. Like before I remember a time when I wasn't even a fan of MMA, but now I'm into it. Now I'm giving props to everybody, across the board. But I remember early on, man, I was like, some of these men, they just grapple a lot. Like some of they just lay and pray. They just laying there, right? But it seemed like some of the women they were coming to bang, man. Like a lot of the women they were coming to bang in there and like go for finishes. They were uh they were using their stand up more. They were using their stand up a lot more, and they were willing to trade. And yeah, that's what I'm talking about. He just said they definitely do. He said the fights are more technical than me. Yeah, that's how I feel. Like I think the stand up games are more technical, and there's a different type of effort from the women. That's the best way to put it. Thank you. That's the best way to put it. Like the effort they put in, and that's what I'm looking at. Like the effort the women put in versus the men is it's just a little it's different. You know, it's just different. Like I said, they're out to kind of prove themselves. So you see them bringing these other elements of trying to bang or either trying to be technical or their stand up is looking sharper. Um, you just have these women actually putting on more of these type of performances, man. Like I said, even before they were in the UFC, there was a lot of these women like Caitlin Young and Marlos Conan, Julie Kedzie, Charmaine Tweet. A lot of these women early on, I was checking out Edie Gomez and Invicta. They were they were putting on bangers. They were putting on these great fights. Yeah, in the early days. Yeah, like in the early days, they're just putting on these great fights. And eventually, I was like, okay, the UFC is going to need to get these women, right? The UFC is going to need to get these women. Strike Force is where it was at. Everybody knows it was Scott Coker that put them on the map. That Showtime. That's what it was, right? But when the UFC's taking over, we were like, man, I don't know what Dana's doing. Like, because I ain't gonna lie, like, I was still watching these other organizations like Invicta and so on. Like, I was barely tuning in. I was looking at the UFC a little bit, but I wasn't tuning in like I am now. And every time Dana said he wouldn't sign women, I was like, well, I'm gonna just stay over here then, right? Um, so when he was first asked about it years ago, y'all remember Dana saying never, he would never sign a woman. Yet he would put on this slap crap league or whatever it is, right? This slap crap. That's all I can call it, slap crap. But his mind get open to that. But in the beginning, he was like, "Oh, never sign a woman." But as y'all know, it was Rhonda who put him on the spot. She approached him and had to talk with him about signing women, and finally I won't say he finally came to reality and said, "Oh, these women deserve a chance." I think it was the fact that he saw Rhonda and said, "I see money." And that's how it usually is. Even like people don't understand, like when it comes down to the black and white thing, the man and woman thing, like it's about green. Like eventually to break a racial barrier or to break a gender barrier, whatever it is, it comes down to money. That's what it is, right? Like Dana might still feel the same way. Like I don't think women should be fighting, but he knows that this is dough in his pockets because he said it himself. Ronda Rousey, when he saw her, he's like, this is a superstar. This is an it factor right here, right? He's like, this girl has something about her. She has to be signed. So he breaks down, signs her, puts her in there for the inaugural Bantamweight Championship, first title fight against Liz Carmouche, right? And it was a main event. He had to bite down all the way and not only sign a woman, but make it a championship fight and make it a main event. So in the long run, it paid off for him. In the long run, it paid off. So he had to just kind of put the pride aside or his beliefs aside and say, you know what? There's something about this girl I have to sign. I have to overlook the fact that she's a woman and understand that this is money in my pocket. So yeah, that's what it was, man. But it's a good thing he did that. Yeah, BJ said facts. Those women are the real horsemen. Yeah. All those women, man. Like even the ones that never got to the UFC, like I still watch them today, man. Still watch them today. But signing Ronda, it definitely put WMMA on another level. I mean, I always thought it was already on the map partially, but I can't lie, the signing of her definitely put it on another level. Like I was never like this diehard fan, like Ronda, like this crazy, crazy hardcore Ronda Rousey fan like that. But I could respect what she was doing and the energy it brought because it definitely had us all watching, the bantamweight division. And it brought, like I said, that other element of excitement and that effort that's being shown by the women, you know? And that's what I wanted to see. I was like, yo, y'all missing out. Y'all are missing out. Y'all got to check out how some of these women get down, man. They be in here really scrapping. And for Ronda to go in here and finish women in the fashion that she did, that was big for WMMA because, again, people are thinking, oh, these women can't fight. But when you got somebody coming in here finishing women in the first round, like Mike Tyson or something, round after one round, one round, one round, it's going to make people listen and look. So I definitely think that was a big impact. Like I said, for me as a hardcore fan already watching, it was just even much more of a plus. But signing, I think it had a big impact on women because overall, when they brought women into the UFC, like I was saying, BJ, it made me want to learn more about MMA and enjoy it more. Like it like I said, introduced me to the men and made me fans of them. Because I was already looking at some of the dudes that were fighting. I was already looking at. I already knew who Anderson Silva was, and all these other fighters, Chuck Liddell, and so on. But I really wasn't. On it like that until I started watching some of the men fights that were on the same cards as the women. Then I would say I'm gonna sit down and watch them all. See, casual fans, they do the reverse. They say, I'm here to watch the men fights. I'm gonna go to the bathroom during the women fights, right? But me, I'm learning, so I'm gonna sit down and watch everything. I'm watching the whole card. So, watching the women had that impact on me. Definitely had that impact on me. But yeah, over the past 10 years, like there's been some slow moments, some slow years, but I think overall, man, like it's definitely been a good thing. We can't say, oh, signing women to the UFC has been bad. I mean, there's a lot of key moments. Like I said, the bantamweight division era with Ronda, which is come and gone now. That was one of the eras that used to have me tuning in. See Ronda, who's gonna take on Ronda next? Is it gonna be Sarah McMahon? As y'all see in this picture here, this was probably one of my favorite Ronda performances. I mean, like I said, I'm not a big Ronda fan, but what were some of y'all favorite performances? They were so quick. What about you, like Marcus, BJ? Like, what are some fights that you see in Ronda that you enjoyed, even though it's still quick? The Sarah one was kind of enjoyable to me because I thought she was improving in her striking in that fight. Like she was actually banging in that fight. She was landing these hard knees to the body, and she had stopped Sarah McMahon with that body shot, right? So I was really thinking Sarah McMahon was going to bring this level of wrestling here in this fight. She's an Olympic wrestler. She's big. She's strong. But here, Ronda doesn't really wrestle with her. She just starts striking a little bit, kneeing her to the body. All right, Betchko Ware. Yeah, that's a good fight scene. Yeah, Betchko Ware. Betchko Ware was a good fight. That was another one where you thought Ronda could bang. She knocked Betch out. Betch is supposed to be the boxer, right? She came in there talking all that junk, talking mad junk, but then she gets knocked out, laid on her back, not her backside, but her face. And Marcus Bell said Cat versus Ronda. That was probably the most disappointing fight of not Ronda's fault, but Cat really, really. I wanted Cat to win that fight. Man. That was whenever Ronda really kind of pissed me off. And I really wanted a Cat to win that fight. Cat was supposed to be in the tough house too that time, if y'all didn't know, but she got injured. So they wound up putting Misha Tate in the tough house. That's just for some of y'all that don't know. Okay, let's see. My favorite Ronda fight was versus Holly. Yeah, that's definitely one of my favorites. Ronda versus Bisha. Yeah, that's a good fight. Six. What's going on? Yeah, that's definitely one of the classic rivalries too. Period. Ronda Misha too. Actually thought Misha had a chance in the second fight, but when it came down to it, she just crumbles, man. She just could not hang. But I like this Sarah McMahon fight. I mean, it was quick, but I don't know. It was just something about those body shots that had me going in that fight. Um, who else? Who got judo tossed and like got punched in the head a bunch of times? Was that Alexis Davis or was that Sarah Kaufman? Who was that? That was another quick one. Like she just got hit once or twice, and Ronda put the headlock on her and judo tossed her, and then it was just like thump, 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 thump to the head, and that was it, right? That was another one where I was kind of disappointed. I was like, yeah, it was Alexis Davis, right? Yeah, it was Alexis Davis. It wasn't Sarah Kaufman. Sarah Kaufman was an armbar. Alexis Davis was the judo toss and like just getting punched in the head till they uh till they stopped it. Yeah, that's the one. Um, yeah, that that's what I'm saying. Like Ronda, she brought a lot of good fights. She brought a lot of good energy. So I can't knock that era. That was a key moment to WMMA. And then I got to say this again. Y'all know one of my favorite eras was the strawweight division, man. Like when the Tough House came in, that strawweight era, when they wanted to build up a strawweight division next. Y'all heard me talking about it the other day, but yeah, like the Ultimate Fighter, the Pettis, what is his name? Pettis and Melendez season. That was probably my favorite season. One of my favorite seasons of Tough. I mean, they brought in everybody, man. They brought in everybody from Invicta and around the way to build the 115 division. So that was one of my favorite moments of WMMA. You had, is it what, 16 women in the house? Let me see. Yeah, 16 in 8 fights. Some of them, were repeats from Invicta. I believe, like Heather Joe Clark and Beck. Really good season, of women. Rose, Angela Hill, JoJo. Some are gone, some are still here. I thought it was another good representation for building a division, which they probably need to do with the atomweight division at some point. I hope they do. But this Tough House, had Carla as the favorite, which that truly was. It was either JoJo or Carla for me. But yeah, definitely had Carla as the favorite. And, she was the most experienced. She was the Invicta FC champion. She came in, won all her fights, destroyed Rose, for the title. And then she steps in there against Joanna. And this was the crazy part, man. Like the Tough House was fun. Like I was like, these are great strawweights. But when I seen the fighters that didn't make or didn't get put in the house, like I don't know if they necessarily went for it or what. When I saw fighters like Karolina Kowalkiewicz, Marina Moreau, Claudia Gadelha, and Joanna, I was like, uh-oh. I was like, these girls right here, they serious. I was like, these girls right here, they are serious. Like they don't have time for tough house drama. They don't have time for tough house drama. They built different. I was like Claudia and Joanna. When I seen that first fight, I was like, oh yeah, these girls are built different. I think whoever Joanna fights that's coming out of the tough house, they are going to catch a beat down. That's how I felt. I'm not lying. Like when Claudia Gadelha, when I saw her first fight with Joanna, I was like, uh-oh. Whoever fights this girl out of the tough house, they're going to get hurt. And sure enough, when Carla takes on Joanna in her first title defense, and yeah, yesterday was the anniversary. Like, dang, that fight's 8 years old now. Carla versus Joanna is 8 years old now. Wow. Yeah, she gets stopped in 2 rounds. I mean, Carla had nothing for Joanna in that fight. Like, she could not take her down. She had no punching power. She had nothing for her, and Joanna just ran through her. And that's when I was like, uh-oh. When she got that belt, I was like, these other tough house girls, you're good, y'all solid, but Joanna is just on another level. And then she fights another one and beats down Jessica Panay, right? But what's crazy is, as time went on, I talked about them, right? The tough house girls, but when Rose came along, much more improved, it's crazy. I picked Rose to beat Joanna. That's crazy, right? At that point, I was like, something about Rose, she's come a long way, and her style is gonna be trouble for Joanna. And she wins. She takes the belt, you know? So yeah, the strawweight division, great division. That was one of the key moments. I'd say another key moment. And then yeah, Holly, you know, killing that Ronda Rousey era. I mean, destroying her. Another fight where I put it. I had to put it on Holly. I said, gotta put the chips on Holly. You know, something about her style. She's got this. You know, and she did. Yeah. Another good fight was like Kat versus Misha Tate. Andrade versus Carolina. Nunes versus Cyborg. Whaley versus Rose. You know, all these are good fights. Paige knocking out Beck. Yeah, just a lot of they made a lot of good fights, man. And you know, they even had some fighters that I thought would blow up that didn't, like Megan Anderson, right? Megan Anderson and Jessamine Duke. I didn't know that they wouldn't blow up like that, but hey, they gave me some good fights though. Like Megan Anderson was one fighter. I mean, I wish that they had moved her the right way, man, because she could have been like partly the face of, you know, UFC. Like if she just had it together a little bit more mentally as a fighter, and you know she had the right coaches and moved her along the right way, I think Megan, she could have been a force. Like I hate to say it, but yeah, it was like Megan just had the power and the size. Like it all went to waste, man. Yeah, Megan Anderson really had something. Like it all went to waste as far as like her becoming this dominant fighter. You know, and I saw her, I was like, this girl's got power. You know, if she can, you know, get used to measuring range and using her takedown defense well, you know, getting used to her body in there, you know, and being able to, like some fighters when they're so tall, they just their limbs, they can get tied up easy. You know what I mean? So I think she's a fighter that just had to get used to fighting big and fighting tall and using her height, man. So I don't know, man. It was just one of them things. Yeah, she was one of those fighters I had promising. Um, but yeah, like I said, I just wanted to go through these moments like Andrade and Claudia Gadelha. Jessica Andrade and Claudia Gadelha. That was a crazy fight. And then I can't believe how I always forget about Pudilova and Aldana. That fight kind of went under the radar because it was on the card with Andrade and Carolina and Carla and Tatiana, you know. But yeah, well, cheers to the WMA and the UFC. It's been 10 years, and I'll probably still be here watching it another 10 years. I mean, I've always been like a, you know, combat sports fans. I'm not just a flaky fan that just says, oh, it's a fad to me. You know, I think fighting will still always be something I enjoy watching. What about y'all? Y'all gonna be around another 10 years? Y'all gonna be around another 10 years still watching fights? I mean, if you're a baseball fan, why not, right? You know, baseball fans, they take it to the grave, you know. Baseball, basketball. I mean, why can't we, right? All right, let's see this comment section. Robot Chicken, what's up? He said, I heard an interview with Jennifer Maia. She said she wants to make another run for the title. Difficult opponent coming off injury. Casey's overlooking her too. Casey's overlooking her. Wow. Yeah, like Brian Williams says, of course, God willing. Yeah, that's the only thing that's probably going to stop us all, right? That's the only person that can stop us all. But just remember when I do go, just say, oh, he was a big fan of MMA, well, boxing, MMA, and the women in MMA. All right. Um. Oh yeah. Okay. Before we go, not go. We ain't gotta go yet. Yeah. So I put this picture up the other day. Somebody asked me, "Is this fight being made now?" I was like, "No, it's not yet." Manon and Aaron Blanchfield is not being made yet, but it's a fight that needs to be made. And let me know if y'all can hear me, because got some landscaping guys working, and y'all don't. Do y'all hear that? Like somebody, y'all hear me clear? Just let me know y'all can hear me clear, because like I said, these landscaping guys are working. They out here trimming and cutting. I need like a window that see one of those bulletproof windows. Eh. Okay. Okay. Gary said he can hear me. All right. Yeah, he's all like a couple of 100 feet away, but he is loud. Okay. Anyways, yeah, Manon and Aaron Blanchfield. I think this is a fight that needs to happen. It's not happening, but I just think it needs to happen now because of not just because of the shakeup in the division, but because you know, I think both of these fighters are kind of looking for another fight. Well, for one, Manon's looking for another fight now because she's coming back from an injury, and she's not going to go right into a title fight, even if it is Grasso. So it just makes sense that Manon takes on Aaron Blanchfield now, right? Because if it wasn't Blanchfield, Andrade. If Andrade won the fight, then I would say Andrade, right? It has to be somebody in the top three. It has to make sense as a title eliminator and to solidify her place. Like, it can't be Lauren Murphy. It can't be anybody like Amanda Ebos. To me, it has to be Blanchfield because they're the ones bucking for title shot, right? And that's how it goes. Blanchfield wants to be a champion. Manon wants to be a champion. So those two fighters have to fight, right? I don't think this has to be a situation where, they get tune-up fights. No, like, keep it moving. Manon, time's not on her side. I know she's coming back from an injury, but I've been following her, and she's been looking good. She's back in the gym training. She's done therapy and everything, but she's actually back, training on her legs, working on her stand-up and everything. So that's a good thing. So with her getting back in the mix, she got to pick up where she left off. And it might be a step back, but it's still a step forward, by fighting Blanchfield. Because while she was out, Blanchfield was making a statement. She's been talking. She want to fight against Andrade. Nobody's impressed with it. Apparently, a lot of fighters aren't impressed with it. Some fighters aren't impressed with Blanchfield's win, but I am, man. Like, that's the one thing. Look, I'm a fan of some of these fighters, but I got to disagree with these other fighters. Look, y'all understand, like, I'm impressed with Blanchfield's victory. You got to give her credit. You got to give Blanchfield credit, even if Andrade was coming off short notice, because everybody was picking Andrade, saying that she was going to knock her out. She had the ability to beat her, right? Even if you don't want to give her full credit, you got to look at the fashion that Blanchfield did it in, man. Like, Blanchfield, she she did this in fashion that some of these other fighters, wouldn't even be able to. Like, even if Andrade was on short notice, right? Like Lauren Murphy, like 100, a full training camp, Lauren Murphy, one with, new training camp, um, fully ready to go, no issues, facing, a smaller Andrade. I'm not trying to downplay, but I'm just saying, like, a small Andrade. You're the bigger flyweight. She had nothing for her. But at least a Blanchfield, who's never fought a top 10 fighter yet, still showed up and showed out and didn't do it in like tentative fashion. Like, she wasn't timid about it. She wasn't scared to let go, or she wasn't fighting this cautious fight. Like Blanchfield was still like beating John Draw to the punch and beating her down. She was going for the finish. So, I have to give Blanchfield a lot of credit, even if the fighters don't, like even though they feel like, it was a full credible win. So if it's not, this is the one that is, right? This should be the credible fight, right? Manone has to give Blanchfield that credible fight. Then, if that wasn't the full credit to get title shot, this should be, right? So it's a win-win, right? It's a win-win. Now, sucks that Tyler Santos isn't in this mix. Like, I know some people said rebook Santos Blanchfield, but I'm like, we could, but this one makes more sense to me now. Like, because of the talk and because of where they're at right now on their schedules, this one makes more sense. Santos has kind of put herself in a position to sit the sideline, even though she's number one, right? Or number two, so not saying Santos is done or anything, but Santos could fight some of the other girls while these two kind of build up their beef and their tension here. Manon says she wants to kill this hype, give her Blanchfield. Blanchfield welcomes this fight. Give it to Manon. Give it to Blanchfield, right? So it's good. And I say make it a UFC Fight Night main event. That way both fighters get their experience and they get their five round fight. Not very not very hard to do. Just go ahead and make it a 5-round fight. JMS said Blanchfield will smash Manon. Wow. I don't think she'll smash her, man. That's why I need to see this fight, because this ain't gonna be a one-sided fight. Definitely felt Blanchfield had the style to beat Andrade, regardless if she was trained up or not, or short notice or not. But I don't think it's a fight she's gonna just walk through. This ain't gonna be one of them fights she walks through. But yeah, Santos, she's just kind of playing the sideline now, which sucks because she's a good fighter. Good fighter. And number two, and another thing that sucks about it is because Grasso beat Valentina, and now it kind of makes Santos's effort not look less credible, but what's the word? Like, it doesn't make it look bad or anything. It just makes it like now Santos just kind of falls into the back, where, okay, what are you going to show us now? Like, what can you show us now? Grasso's already beat her. Like, what else can you do? Gary said Santos only needs one good win. Yeah, she needs that one win, but she's got to want to fight first. JMS said she needs to pay her coaches, and maybe she can leave the country to fight. That's man. That's what it's coming down to. And that's what's sad, JMS, is the fact that it has nothing to do with an injury. That's why I'm kind of disappointed in Santos. Like, you got other fighters out here who get, like Manon, she's injured. That stops her from fighting. Or you got other fighters who, tear their ACL. Right? Or you just got some fighters in bad deals, against their will. But yours comes down to you making bad choices out here, not being honest. And from what I'm hearing, right, allegedly not paying you. Well, you're not paying your coaches. So now it's making your career come to a halt while you're 100%. You're in good tip-top condition. Everything's good. But you can't fight because your bad reputation, bad business moves. So that's what's disappointing about her situation. See, people talk about Manon and they say, oh, Manon's, why wasn't she talking this and that? Like, at least she's still fighting, and at least she's still good with her camp, right? At least Manon is still honest with her camp. Like, she's working. Like, even if she wanted one more fight before the Valentina fight, at least we can say she has a plan and she has a mission. Like, whatever their deal is, like, they're trying to get there, right? But Santos kind of messed hers up by apparently not being honest here. and putting herself in a position to not fight in the US. Right? See, at least Benon is training and boom, she can be back fighting soon. Right? Santos, we don't know. We don't know. We don't know when she's gonna come back. There's no fight lined up because even Dana said it himself. I mean, Dana was probably stretching it, but he's saying she doesn't want to fight in the US, but what is that really the deal? Nah, I don't think so. But yeah, when it comes down to it, man, this is a good fight for Blanchfield. It's a good fight for Manon. It's a top 5 fight, and both the girls want to fight for the belt by the end of the year, possibly. And both are in my triple threat. This was bound to happen at some point, and I think it'd be a good fight, and it'd be a good idea to do this as a main event. Gabby said, I think the UFC doesn't need Santos. They have Aaron, O'Neal, Manon, and Ebos, etc. They did it first. That's the sad part. That is the sad part, because that is not a lie. That really isn't a lie. I mean, because if it was Gabby and I disagreed with you, I would be trying to force a Santos fight somewhere in here with these two. I'd be saying, a little while ago, I was saying, okay, Manon and Santos is the fight to make, right? Or rebook Santos and Blanchfield, but not anymore, right? And it's not the fact that I hate her. I don't like this fighter. I'm saying, oh, she's not good, she's irrelevant. But she kind of is irrelevant. But I'm not saying she's not a good fighter, but she made herself irrelevant now. So just like a businessman or a matchmaker, I'm moving on, man. I'm like, you know what? I want to see one of these fighters that really want it. So it's not me being like disrespectful. I'm just like one of these businessmen. I'm like, yo, let's keep this division going by making Manon and Blanchfield now, because they're talking. Manon knows he's coming back in August, so she's talking herself up to get an Aaron fight, and Aaron accepts the fight. Aaron said, okay, I might not get the fight with Grasso right away because Valentina and Grasso's going to rematch, so I'll take the Manon fight. And that's Blanchfield's mindset, as always. She was going to fight Santos. She'll fight whoever they put in front of her. She fight Valentina or Grasso, Manon. She doesn't care. So with that kind of talk, I'll say, okay, let's weed out everybody else. Santos, take a step back, please. You know what I mean? I'm like, Santos, can you step back real quick? I want to take this, let's get Manon up here in Blanchfield. Step back there, okay. That's how I kind of see it now. It's like, I just want to keep it moving. And it's really because, the situation she put herself in, right? I mean, she's training and everything. I see her training online, but it doesn't sound like got a fight coming up right now. And anybody calling out, Santos, trying to call for Valentina fight wouldn't make sense, or Grasso fight. Oh, appreciate it. JMS74, the 10 spot. He said, if Santos can get right, she looks like she can beat everyone. But just from looking at them all, I think Blanchfield will be champion. Great channel, man. I appreciate that, man. Really, I do. Thanks a lot. And I agree with you, man. Santos, if she gets her stuff together, if she gets her stuff together and gets her team right, she could beat a lot of these fighters, in my opinion. She could beat a lot of fighters. Chikagan, Murphy, Grasso. I pick her to beat Grasso. I know some people don't, but we'll never know. We'll never know if she don't get her business straight, right? So, but yeah, I can see Blanchfield getting that belt next too. I can see. Well, that's where we disagree, Jay. I see the Manon or Blanchfield. I like them both, so I'm gonna be, I'm not gonna play on one field. I mean, I know you think she'll smash her, and for good reason. For good reason. Blanchfield is a well-rounded fighter. I'm not gonna lie. Blanchfield's been working on her striking, but it's just her jiu-jitsu is like no other. Like, we know Blanchfield on the ground. Manon better not go there to the ground with her. Let's just put it that way. Because I said that about Valentina. I was like, yo, Valentina better not go in the ground with Blanchfield because I was saying this before Valentina lost to Grasso. I was saying before she lost, I said, you know what, Blanchfield is very dangerous. Her jiu-jitsu is like no other in this division. And Valentina could succumb to it, you know. Gabby said Santos was the first to lead to the new era flyweights now, and there are many more. Right. And she could still be here too, man. Like she could still be here if whatever's going on behind the scene wasn't a problem. Yeah, Gary said everything is alleged. Yeah, that's why I use that word allegedly early, because that's the word. Everything is alleged, but we know it's not an injury. We know it's not a sickness or anything. We know it's not any type of situation like that. But word is from certain fighters that not only I've heard from, but from other people have heard, it is that situation, Gary. Like it's not put out in the news, but from what I've seen, what I've heard, yeah. And you get a little bit of word like that now. That's why, shout out to fighters like Sleight of Mind, like he's giving me a little inside track of how Grasso was looking and he 100% believed in Valentine, So yeah, you hear word behind the scene. Like I'm not, that's why I use the word alleged because it's not fully put out there, but yeah. Yeah. But it can't be good. It can't be good, right? Gabby said Aaron wants to come back for an international fight week and Manon wants to come back by August. UFC supposedly is going back to Paris in September. Wow. Ooh, September, man. That's kind of a far way out, like 6 months, right? But that gives them both time to prepare. If it's a pay-per-view card, they might wind up being a co-main event. But if it's a UFC fight night card, they better make them the main event. Man. Where to put that fight? Put it on in August or in September. That'll give even Blanchfield plenty of time to improve as a fighter. That's going to give her like 6 months, 5 months, to really train hard. That's interesting right there. If it's a Paris card, maybe, B will still puts out weak fights. Trust me, Santos stock has dropped. Yeah, honestly, yeah, it has. Like, it's a business, man. Like, stock will drop in a fighter. 1 week is high, then the next week it'll drop. Let's be real. That's why you got to move on with fights that make sense right now. If you're not putting yourself in that position, yeah. Gary said, "Are we going to treat Santos like she doesn't exist?" He said, "I could never." It's not the fact that she doesn't exist, right? It's just not putting yourself in that position. Like, where? Let me ask you this, like, Gary, like, where does she stand right now for you? Like, what fight makes sense for her? I think the only other fight that makes sense for her right now would be a Chikagan or a Murphy fight. Like, playing matchmaker, as far as what's going on in the division, for me, like, she's there, but she exists. But the fighters that have just upped the ante are fighters like Blanchfield and Grasso, right? So, in the meantime, regardless of what you think or what anybody thinks, a fighter will fall, whether it was they're doing or not. This fighter right here is in higher demand, So I don't think it's the fact that we're making this situation disrespectful, like, oh, she doesn't exist. No, like, check out my matchmaking Mondays. I'm always including her, but as the fights go on and the improvements go on and the accomplishments go on for like Aaron Blanchfield, then it's like, or Manon, it's like, okay, well, Santos, where you at? Right? Where are we at? How are we going to do this? Like, you got to do something. What's going on behind the scenes? Because the wheels are turning. That's what I'm saying about this fight game. People just don't understand. It keeps moving. Like, it truly is. What have you done for me lately? Like, whether fans feel that way or not, the business side keeps on moving. Like, you think Dana White's going to say, I'm going to hold up this division for Santos? You know, like, he might treat her like she don't exist at some point because he sees other fighters that want to fight. You know what I mean? Either Manon or Aaron will have to comply to the other's timeline, but the UFC can favor one of them or the UFC would demand them. Yeah. And I think they'll come down to terms like, as long as it's in that realm, like, as long as it's around the August or September realm, I think that it'll make sense. You know, if we do August, Aaron is down for it. September would be nice because yeah, it is a Paris card, but I think either one would be fine. Either one's good. Either one is good, as long as they make that fight happen. Mm. Yeah. Now Santos still deserves to be ranked. No, Santos for sure deserves to be ranked. The thing is, she's got to, she's got to put herself in the mix because right now Grasso and Shevchenko got unfinished business. Manon and Aaron are acknowledging that they both want this fight in the summertime. And yeah, so in the meantime, if I was playing matchmaker, I'd say to keep Santos alive and active in this division, who hasn't fought in a good 9 months now? 9 months since last June. Last June, right? She hadn't fought since last June. She's got to fight one of these other fighters, right? She hadn't fought since June. So again, all she's got to do is accept the fight with somebody at this point because she's not in a position to fight for a title now. And that's what it is, Gary. It's just honesty, You know what I mean? Like, whoever is saying she doesn't deserve to be ranked, I don't know who they are, but whatever. Exactly, Robot Chicken. It's about having your stuff together when you book for a fight. Huge liability. That's all it is, man. Like, put yourself in the business standpoint, man. Like, Santos hasn't fought since last June. Grasso just won the belt. Blanchfield, a fighter they were pushing to beat Andrade, just won, right? Santos hasn't fought since June. Again, I'm gonna throw that out there. Manon is coming back and she's voicing the fight with Aaron. Again, Santos hasn't fought since June. Dana White is looking at Aaron now as a possible title contender. Shevchenko and Grasso might want to have a rematch. Santos again hasn't fought since June. I'm gonna just keep throwing that in there. Like, understand what we're saying here. Understand what we're saying. It has nothing to do with her skills. It has something to do with where she's placed right now. Now, granted, if Valentina beat Grasso, Santos would still be in a good position. But when things get shaken up, if one business goes out, boom, boom, this business goes out, it's like, oh man, what do we do from here? We gotta make adjustments. Marcus said one thing for sure, it would be a huge liability if Tyler was granted a rematch. If Tyler was granted a rematch against Valentina. Oh, Baldwin. He said Gary Baldwin. Might have been autocorrect. Gary Baldwin. Baldwin. Yeah, man. But yeah, like I said, Gary, where do you see Santos fighting right now? Like, who do you see her fighting? Who does she deserve to fight? Those are the three questions I'm gonna ask you. Like, where does she stand? Who should she fight? And Yeah, just those two questions. Like, give me a good argument, Gary, and we'll say, okay, maybe she should be fighting Mano now instead. But I think she should be fighting Lauren Murphy or Caitlin Chikagian. Because when you've been out for 10 months, 9 months, 10 months, whatever, in that champion fight that you were waiting for, that champion has already lost her belt. Then what's the purpose, right? Don't know. Excuse me. Robot Chicken said, what would have happened to the card if Andrade refused to fight Aaron on short notice? Right. Six said, I think they're going to make the Chikagian fight. Only makes sense. Yeah, it only that's the fight that makes sense. I know Chikagian's like number 6 now, but it makes sense. It makes sense. But yeah, that was all I really wanted to talk about on that fight, really, because like I said, this is a Shark Tank, Okay, so you agree then? Gary said Grasso got her title shot off of Vivi. Caitlin Chikagian should be enough. Okay, yeah, there you go. I'm glad you agree. That's all I'm saying. Caitlin Chikagian should be enough. Yeah, one more fight should be enough. Yeah, I don't think she need no 2 or 3 fight win streak at this point when she's at number 2, but she needs at least another fight because you got to fight somebody in the meantime because Valentina doesn't have the belt anymore. Waiting for a rematch with Valentina doesn't make sense. You got me? Like, it doesn't make sense. Grasso probably has to grant her that rematch. So you gonna sit the sideline for another 5-6 months? No, that ain't gonna happen. Dana ain't gonna. Didn't y'all ever hear Dana say he don't like inactive fighters? You remember when Dana said he almost didn't want to give Carla a shot because she wanted to sit out? So you really think he gonna give Santos a shot if she want to sit out another 5-6 months? That's gonna leave her at what, like 14 on a 14-15 month layoff? You better fight somebody, and that's all I'm saying. Fight Chikagian. Fight Chikagian and Murphy. That's all I'm saying. Gabby said if O'Neal wins against Maia, the UFC could possibly put O'Neal versus Santos together. They could. That is a possibility. I actually like to see O'Neal versus Ebos, but that would be a good fight. O'Neal versus Santos. I'm not gonna lie, that'd be a good fight. That'd be a good fight. Yeah. But yeah, questions? Any questions? Let's move on real quick because yeah, there's a couple things I want to discuss. And let's see. Oh yeah, tonight. Tonight is the Invicta FC 52 card. I'll be on about 9 o'clock to call it. Like I said, a little under the weather, but hey, I'm not feeling bad. Not bad enough to not watch some fights. Y'all know where to watch it. Y'all know where to watch the card tonight. Let's see. Lolita, what's up? Lolita said, will O'Neal pull it off? I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. Chikagian against Tyler Santos. Chikagian against Tyler Santos. Gary said, I'm not saying Santos doesn't need a win for a title shot. I'm not saying Santos doesn't need a win for a title shot. Oh no, I know that. I know. When you said Caitlyn should be enough, you're saying that one fight should be enough, and then boom, she gets a title shot. I got you. Yeah, that's why I was agreeing on that part because that's what I was saying. Y'all make good conversation. Though. I enjoy it. That's what I'm saying. Like we just talking about, matchmaking here, and I just think that Santos is relevant. She's a good fighter, but she's kind of pushing herself out. Like she's relevant because she's still in the top 3. I'm not gonna knock that, but she's kind of pushing herself out with the choices she's making. So, as somebody that puts her in a triple threat as a fighter and a threat to the title, for sure, all day long. I just don't understand what's going on now, where Dana would say that she doesn't want to fight in the U.S. That's what has me scratching my head. All right. That's what just has me like, wow, like definitely not pushing her out as a fighter, you know? All right. 9 p.m. Eastern time, Wednesday, March 15th, Invicta FC 52. Y'all got YouTube, right? Y'all got YouTube. So don't be cheap. Pull it up and watch the fight. Yeah, I mean, y'all can be cheap and watch this fight. E-Boss dumpsters O'Neal. Dang. I like E-Boss. I think I agree with you on that. Jaxel says Santos is very inactive and now she gets back. She needs to get back ASAP. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, Jaxel. That is all I'm saying. Okay, so Invicta FC 52, we got Valeska Machado, Danny McCormick, strawweight title fight. This is Valeska Machado's first title defense of her belt. And I think this is going to be a good fight. You got Ireland's Danny McCormick, who is a very scrappy fighter. She's tough. She likes to bring it. Valeska Machado, she's a very sharp technical striker, very, very technical with hers. Pick her shots, got some nice movement. I like what she's bringing to the table. Six is a fan of Machado. I know that. He says he's looking forward to the Machado fight. Yeah. So we got 7 fights. Hopefully we get some finishes so I won't be on till like 1 in the morning. Because believe me, if we get to 1 in the morning, I might pass out on y'all. No, I'm not going to pass out, but I really hope that we get some finishes. I think we'll get some finishes on this card because we got some power punches. We got some masters at jiu-jitsu on the ground. We got some judokas here. So some fighters are going to get tossed around in this one. We got some good scraps. All right. We got a lot of actually, this thing is like a strawweight tournament. Like there's only one bantamweight fight on this card, y'all. So if the UFC is looking for another crop of strawweights, here they are. Here they are. Some of these fighters I'm new to, like the first fight. This Kendra McIntyre, this is her first fight, period. This is her pro debut against Diana Sanchez, who I've seen in Combate. She's 1-1. Combate, yeah, she's 1-1. She's where she fight out of. Let me make sure, Mexico, right? Oh, Washington State. She is Mexican, but she fights out of Washington State. But yeah, fought for Combate a couple times, and tough fighter, scrappy fighter from what I've seen. So not much to say on this one because they're just both coming into the game. That's the first strawweight fight on the card. Second one is Sayuri Cannon versus Amanda Maciosi. Now, Amanda Maciosi, I know y'all see me post about her once. Like her debut, this girl used to be a powerlifter, I believe. Yeah. And she came in with a bomb right hand and knocked out Jasmine Montoya. Yeah, I posted that a while back. So we'll see what she brings to the table in this fight. So 2 undefeated fighters. Sayuri coming in at 2-0. Hopefully Amanda Maciosi can bring that same type of energy for another knockout. So yeah, these are like a lot of first starters in the game. And of course, the third fight. Y'all know my girl here. All right, now, if I have a triple threat for strawweight at some point, this young lady is going to be part of it. Got Fatima Klein. Fatima Klein is back. Fatima Klein, the master jiu-jitsu practitioner, is taking on a black belt in judoka, Natasha. Let me see, how do you pronounce that? Let's see. Kuziatina. We'll just call her Natasha. Her nickname is Kuzia. 1-0, taking on Fatima Klein, who's 3-0. I don't see this fight going the distance, y'all. This fight ain't going the distance. I think this is going to be a good one. Fatima, she's built different. I think she has a lot of good tools that she's developing. Natasha, I haven't seen too much of her. She's strong, and she is a powerful judoka. But we'll see how that transitions to MMA. Like what type of hand game she got. If anything, I think the hands will favor Fatima, and that's going to be her. That's going to be her bread and butter to get this fight where she wants it. Keep good range, maybe try to rock Natasha early on, and then maybe go for a submission. So I'm looking for that one. Looking out for this one for sure. That's third fight. Fourth fight is a bantamweight fight. We got Callie Cutler versus Myra Cantieria. And let me see if I've seen her fight before. SFT. Myra, haven't seen her fight too many times. Yeah, I've seen a couple of her fights. Callie Cutler. Let's see, 7-6. Oh, yeah. Bare knuckle boxer. Okay, yeah, I've seen her fight a couple times. Kind of a filler bantamweight fight, 7-6 and 9-5. Not really sure what's going to happen in that one. Moving up though, Mina Grisander. She was a former atomweight contender. Y'all remember her a few years back. She's taking on Shauna Bannon. Shauna Bannon 4-0. Shauna Bannon's been making a name for herself. Tough, scrappy fighter. She has a little bit of everything, and she's putting herself on the map. Just by getting a lot of eyes on her from Ireland. A lot of support from her and like Danny McCormick. Ireland backs their fighters. So I think like the fighters out here that you have to really look out for, or I think Fatima Klein and Shauna are like two of the ones that are really going to be like the big attractions. But I think the most well-rounded to me is Fatima Klein. All right, Mina Grisander, she's a veteran now. This ain't gonna be an easy fight. I mean, she is moving up, but this ain't gonna be an easy fight. I know she's coming off almost a 3-year layoff, 3 losses in a row, but I think she'll be good. She'll be good work for Shauna Bannon. Gary said Bannon maybe gets to go to Dana White's contender series because she has the look, but Klein needs 2 more wins. Right. I agree. Yeah, she has the look. Like that was the reason that he signed Haley Cohen, right? She has the it factor. Even though Haley Cohen came up a little short as far as like making a big impression, he still signed it. So I think, Shauna Bannon might go to Dana White's contender series and get signed. But yeah, Klein, you think she needs 2 more wins? I think Klein needs to win the belt here first to really make sure she's ready, in my opinion. Let me keep on going through these fights here real quick. There's only a couple more. Let's see. Co-main event, Carolina Wajcik, Gideon Silva, good fighters. They're scrappy. Y'all want to see Carolina Wajcik versus Cheyenne Bays. That fight is online. That was a good, tough fight. Cheyenne Velismus, yeah. So both of these fighters had lost to Valeska Machado in the strawweight tournament. Should be a good fight, though. They bang. I think Silva has more power than Wajcik. The Wajcik is tough, man. So co-main event, I think is gonna be turned up, y'all. We're gonna be tuned in for that one. I am. I'm gonna try to be awake. In the main event, Valeska Machado versus Danny McCormick. That's going down. It's going down. I give Machado the edge. I think she's a much more precise hitter. Sometimes Danny can get into a scrap. She can get pulled into a firefight. I've seen her get knocked out in like Bellator once. And I was like, wow. She got knocked out in 1 round. And it was just how she had walked into some of the shots, though. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like, slow down. She got caught by a bigger puncher. So you're looking at a technical striker like this young lady, Tina Black. That's a nickname. I think that, I'm going to give her the edge here for sure. All right. So, going to be a good card. Y'all tune in tonight at 9 p.m. I'll be on in a few more hours for that. Sink said you heard about Poliana versus Dakota. Yeah, I did hear about that. I heard about that. I just saw a picture of it. I didn't really look what the date is, but who do you got in that fight? I'd like for Dakota to win, but it's kind of a toss-em. Gabby said Klein is confident that she will be in the UFC by the end of the year. Dang, yeah, I'd like to see her. I just want to see her get a belt first, man. Like, she's young. I just want to see her get the belt first and kind of develop. She's only 3-0 and she's only 22 years old. But who knows, man? Like, she is a good sized strawweight. She could make some noise. I think Bruno Brazil's another strawweight that's we need to look out for. She just got signed, right? Gabby said Bannon fought Dechiva and Dyer. She fought some good girls. Yeah, Bannon's fought some good girls. Yeah, she has. Yeah, I heard about that. Maverick and Jasmine also was announced. And I like that because they both were calling for the fight. Maverick called out Jasmine. Jasmine acknowledged it. And then, the matchmaker said, there we go. Somebody calling out somebody. So since Manon and Aaron are calling out each other, make that fight happen. You know what I mean? Like, Miranda's never scared. Like, that's a thing I like about Miranda. Like, Miranda will call out fighters. You know what I mean? Like, on her mission to get to the top or back into the top 15, she'll call out a fighter. She feels like, hey, I need to get some time in, need a specific type of fighter. I'm gonna work. Yeah, so I like that. I like that. Josephine Knudsen needs to come to Invicta. Yeah, I like her, man. I had picked her to beat Jacinta Austin too, man. I know a lot of people are going Jacinta Austin, but I said something about Knudsen's kickboxing is gonna be problems, man, and her volume. Yeah, Josephine Knudsen need to come through Invicta and work. You know what I mean? She just need to come in there and be like, oh yeah. Yeah, I like her style, man. I was like watching her as a kickboxer too. So yeah, I like to see her in Invicta. Poliana versus Dakota is a 50-50 fight. I believe so. Yeah, I think so. A lot of these lower level fights at strawweight are 50-50 fights. But yeah, that's the thing. Like I said, you got to call people out, and I'm just glad that, she stays on there and she calls people out. Didn't get that Molly fight, but she calls fighters out. Called Macy out for a rematch. Miranda said she actually had 4 people turn her down, she actually told the UFC, I want to fight these 4, these different opponents that they put out. And, she asked to fight certain fighters and all 4 of them turned her down. She didn't put them on blast, but she said they all turned her down. Machado versus Yasmin if she gets signed. Ooh. I can't even think of that right now. Yeah, Knudsen. Yeah, I like Knudsen stand up. Josephine Knudsen's got some pretty good stand up. I like to see her come through Invicta though. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. I ain't gonna lie, man. Yeah, I don't know who those 4 were though. I'm surprised she didn't put them on blast. I think I'm not sure if Macy Barber was one, but it's kind of logical that Macy probably wouldn't want to fight her again because Macy's moving on and Macy knows she lost that fight. Oh. But I want to know who those other 4 fighters were. I'm glad Maverick isn't fighting Natalia. Yeah, that's a bad style matchup. I mean, some fights you just look at and you're like, wow, like, I don't know. Like, even the Teresa Blader fight, I think that was a bad style matchup. I mean, we all know now, but I'm just saying, like, for her to come into the UFC, Teresa, and get put in that type of meat grinder was messed up, man. All right, y'all. Let's talk about these 3 flyweight fights here. Well, I still got some of y'all in here talking about. I know y'all looking forward to some of this, like Gabby and Gary and Brian. These are 3 flyweight fights we looking forward to, and different reasons, man. Like, first off, yeah, I'm glad they made the change. They put Maia O'Neal on the pay-per-view card, and they put JoJo and Lana Carolina on the prelims now. They switched it, which makes sense, So Macedo and Juju are the opening fights. And JoJo and Lana, they're gonna be on the opening card. Early prelims. Macedo and Juju. This is Juju's UFC debut. Veronica Macedo. This is almost like her debut, right? I mean, she's been gone for a minute. I'm just playing, but yeah, she's been gone for a minute. This is like her second debut into the UFC. She's 6-4. Her last fight was March 14, 2020. Right? March 14, 2020. And she hasn't scored a win since Poliana Viana back in 2019. Before that, she was on 3-fight losing streak. Hasn't won but one fight in the UFC, 1-4. Okay. And more experienced than Macedo, but necessarily not like a great number of wins over Juju in the UFC, right? Just one more win than Juju. Got Juju and JoJo in this car, right? Juju and JoJo. Yeah, so Juju has one less win in the UFC than Veronica Macedo. All right. I don't know, man. Like, it seemed like a lot of people. Well, Marcus, I know he says he believes she's a live underdog and he really thinks she can win this fight, but I don't know, man. Like, I'm trying to think what Macedo can do. I was watching that Andrea Lee fight and I saw some things, but I don't know if that's her. The Andrea Lee fight was almost 5 years ago. It was almost 5 years ago. And after that, she got submitted by Jillian Robertson. And I'm thinking, like, if Juju is on her stand-up game, even just a little bit, and her takedown game is strong, and she's big, which we know she is, she's strong, which we know she is. If her takedowns are on point, I mean, she could do this just like Jillian Robertson, but quicker. You know what I mean? And I'm trying, like I said, I'm definitely not mixing this up with who I think is better for the division. I just think that at this point, with like the activity behind the scenes and the training and what some of the things Veronica Macedo has been going through, I kind of look at Juju as the favorite just based off of, those things like her momentum and how she's really, really trying to improve as a fighter. I think she's going to take all that energy in here and it could overwhelm Veronica Macedo. It's a lot of ring rust. And like I said before, like it's not like Veronica Macedo left off like Suarez. We can't compare those two. All right. Like Suarez left as a dominant force, an undefeated dominant force. But Veronica Macedo was gone with a record of 1-4, right? And on top of that, it wasn't like this. She was having trouble making weight too, so it wasn't like she left off like, oh, this with this big question mark, they're gonna say, oh man, what could have happened if she stayed around, right? So to me, looking at those factors like that, I know technically Macedo looks sharper on the feet, going back and looking at some of the things that she was able to do. I could see that being a problem, but if Juju can use her reach and her strength in this fight, she's got to reach like 67, I believe. She's 5'7" with a 66, 67-inch reach. And I'm not betting on that, but like a 3 or 4 inch reach, and she's 3 or 4 inches taller. She might have some her moments in where she could get this fight finished. Ernest Richardson, what's going on, man? Let's see. I'll look at the fights again. Like I said, I'm looking at Veronica Macedo's past fights, but I just don't know if I could pick her confidently in this fight. I don't know if her stand up is going to give that many problems. Like maybe if she can step in like with a couple of good counters on the inside and use lateral movement here, like Veronica could be a problem. I think Veronica could. Her best bet to me would be to use side to side movement and actually fight on the outside, but she's got to be quicker. And I don't know if she can do that here. I think Juju's jab, she's developing it and it could be a problem. It could be a stunner, man. And I think the minute, she land a few bombs, she's going to want to take the fight to the ground and get a finish. I don't know with this fight. I don't even know if I am going to really pick it. I'm leaning towards Juju. I just think Juju has the momentum for her right now. And I do think she is better for the division though, man. Gabby said, who is next if Juju wins? Who should be next? How about Victoria Leonardo or somebody? Yeah. Depends on how she looks in this fight, too. Depends on how she looks in this fight. Gabby said, I feel like Klein will end up at 135. Really? I would say flyweight. I'd probably say flyweight. I think maybe flyweight would probably be a good point for her. Because I think if she got down to 130, 135, I think, mm, if she's staying fit and in shape and on point, I think 135 would be a good place for her. I know she's like 5'7", but she's like JoJo's size. So, if JoJo can make 125, I think she could throughout the rest of her career. Yeah, Gary said the same thing. He said Juju wins. Yeah, Leonardo should be next. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Leonardo would be a good fight, Victoria Leonardo, that would be a good fight. And another thing too, Veronica Macedo was out for a while with that some concussion issues too, So I don't know. I could just see Juju having those moments where she could, hurt her and go after, get her out of there, So I don't know. I just don't know, man. I just didn't see enough in those fights to make me say, oh, it's gonna be like this huge problem. But you never know. Veterans, they're sneaky sometimes. They're sneaky. Let's see, JoJo versus Lana Carolina. This one here is just kind of like I think it's just another fight to fight out JoJo's contract. She only got like a couple more years, like she said in the interview. So I don't think she's looking to stick around any longer, even go for the belt at this point. I just don't think JoJo has that in her where they're just trying to go for another title run or anything like that. Luana Carolina, I'm sure she has it on her mind, but I don't know like what type of improvements she's made it over the past few months that can really really jump into the top 15 at this point because like I said, top 15 all around is a Shark Tank, man. And getting knocked out by Molly McCann the way she did just had me like, oh no, come on. She had a rough fight with Lupe Godinez, Poliana Viana. Before that, she had got submitted. But I mean, she was one of the ones that beat Zombie Girl pretty convincingly. Then she knocked down Zombie Girl. Then she knocked down Cachoeira, I believe. I think she did, right? Luana Carolina did. So I don't know, man. Like this fight here is kind of an interesting one. I think this is more in JoJo's element here because they match up as both Muay Thai fighters. So to me, it would have to be more of Luana Carolina being the wild card here, getting the fight to the ground and going for the submission, like the past 3-4 fighters JoJo's fought has. Because on the feet, I got to give JoJo credit. She's very flowing with her combinations. She lets her hands go. She definitely lets her hands go. She's just never really improved with the ground game. Never really improved with the defense. And as somebody who's been watching her for years, like I was always like, yo, let's get let's get this head moving now. Let's get this defense down, and I want to see that in her, but she hasn't really had that type of I guess training, to really make those adjustments in fights. This ain't really a fight I can see her getting knocked out though, man. Like this ain't a fight where I see her get knocked out. Like JoJo's not getting knocked out or submitted. Luana Carolina doesn't really have that type of power. So, JoJo will take more chances in this fight. Like I said, it'll be on Luana Carolina to be that fighter to go to the ground. Yeah, he said that drunken master version of Luana. Yeah. I don't know though. This is just kind of almost like the exhibition fight of the flyweight division. I don't know what's really going to come of it, or whoever wins, you don't really want to match them up with some of the bigger fighters, right? Honestly, I think the loser or the winner of this fight, and this is no disrespect, I think the loser or the winner of this fight could fight somebody like Teresa Bleda at this point. You know what I mean? Like, and that's just me playing matchmaker. Or the loser could fight Juju, depending on how Juju looks. I'm just saying, man. Like, I'm just playing around here. I'm just, just throwing names out. Because if whoever looks bad in this fight, it's like a good experience fight for Juju moving forward. I'm just saying. If JoJo loses, she should retire. That's what Gary says. Yeah, yeah, I think so, man. Like, depending on how bad it is, too, man. Like, nah, even if it's even if it's an L, man, I hate to see my favorite fighter stick around too long and get beat up like that. Yeah, man, I had like 20 people. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Yeah. Been on for about an hour 45. I had like 20 people coming through. Hit that like button. Like BJ said, he's off work. And yeah, still going, man. Yeah, it's been about an hour and 45. I ain't been on here like 2 yet. So so make sure you hit that like button. JoJo's more likely to get submitted and lose a decision. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's why I say if it stays standing, I think JoJo has no problem winning a decision. I think she has the hands for it. She's got the hands and the technique to keep it standing all day long. So we'll see where it goes from here. Gabby said maybe they can go to PFL and build that division over there. Maybe. BJ says it's been at least 3 hours. Dang, man. What you drinking? She said 3 hours. It's only been an hour. Only been an hour and 45 minutes, man. I just got on at like 3:30. Oh boy. Okay, so I gotta rock with my girl JoJo. It's a fan pick. I'm gonna go with JoJo. Juju and JoJo. Jennifer Maia and Casey O'Neill, though, that's the bigger fight of the division. The bigger fight night. Jennifer Maia offers a lot, man. Like, Jennifer Maia is offering a lot. And for Casey O'Neill to take this fight as her first fight back in about a year and some change, I got to give her credit, man. Got to give her credit, but it's definitely a dangerous fight, man. Jennifer Maia has been in there with the best of. She's already fought for the belt. Who she fight? Chikagan 2 times. Manon Fiorot, Valentina Shevchenko. She's gone 5 with her. Jessica I. Who else has she fought? Like, I'm just naming off top here. Jennifer Maia is a very tough, durable fighter too. Last fight was a win over Marina Moreau. She's got the boxing. She's got the strength. She's got the wrestling. She's a black belt. She's got a little bit of everything that Casey O'Neill needs to show her level. Like, can Casey O'Neill make certain adjustments in this fight? Or can she impose her will on Jennifer Maia? Like, can she impose her stand-up game and her pressure? Like, can Casey O'Neill put out the same work ethic that she did against Roxy? I don't think there's going to be that type of fight where she can. That's why I'm like really, really wondering about how much Casey's improved in that time off. How much has she improved in her time off now? Has she had enough time to really, really work on her defense and her timing? Can she switch gears now and be more economical with her punches? Like, can she still punch with the same effect? Like, can she still get off good combinations and not get hit? Like, last fight, she wanted to put on a war with Roxy, but I don't think you want to do that with Jennifer Maia. You don't need to be doing that type of fight. You got to slow it down and put on effective pressure. Like, stay in Jennifer Maia's chest without having your head there to be dot it up. You know what I mean? Like, because Jennifer Maia's gonna let off combinations. If Jennifer Maia can move side to side and not worry about you stepping back, she's good to go. She was getting off well on Marina Moreau, and I thought Marina Moreau would have fought a better fight there. Like a much more educated boxing match. But Jennifer Maia's got quick hands. So this could be a fight where Jennifer Maia says, "Hey, you know what? I know what she's gonna do. She's gonna come straight forward. Oh, there she is. Ping her up with a couple good combinations to keep it moving. Using her timing here. Tie clinch, it could be interesting though. O'Neal, she's locking in with Tiger Muay Thai, right? Getting that work in. So Jennifer Maia, the tie clinch could be interesting. It could be interesting here. But I would still favor Maia as far as strength wise. But what it's going to be, I think, Gary, is Casey needing to wrestle. Like, Casey's going to have to push a high paced fight to me. I think she's going to have to push a high paced fight. Because sometimes to expose the IQ on certain fighters, you got to overwhelm them. When you overwhelm a fighter, that's really going to tell how quick they can adjust to what you're bringing. Like, there's a few fights where, Jennifer Maia doesn't really use her IQ, like the Jessica I fight, the two Chikagan fights. There were moments in there where she didn't really get to the point where it was like, okay, I got to take this fight to the ground, right? So this might be a fight where if Casey O'Neal chooses to wrestle and push her and take her down, go for those moments, Jennifer Maia might fall into that game plan. She might fall into that game plan and wind up getting tired or wind up getting put on her back, because that was all that Casey O'Neal trained for, to say, hey, this is what we're going to do. Gabby said during media day, O'Neal seemed focused and less talkative. Okay. We'll see, man. We'll see if I know she's got the killer instinct, but this is one of them fights, man, where it could be like the gamble, like the past three with Blanchfield beating Andrade. I'm kind of, looking and just studying here. I'm like, the way things have been turning out, like these young guns really have been blazing up now, man. So I don't know, man. Casey O'Neal. She's been out for a little bit, but this could be her night, man. And if she does it, that's definitely gonna put her in the mix. Much like the Juju fight, I think at this point, I would rather see Casey O'Neal win. I'd rather see Casey O'Neal win at this point, because she's better for the division now. Young, undefeated fighter that wants to fight. And, Jennifer Maia's already been there, done that. I think to keep the division moving, we got to look at this, man. BJ said, pick the correct fight. Yeah, I'm looking at where Jennifer Maia fails and where she succeeds. You know what I mean, BJ? I'm looking at where she fails and succeeds, and it's a disappointing thing. Like, she should have beat Jessica I so much more convincingly. Then I look at somebody like Casey O'Neal, who's just maybe limited, but very, very confident in what she does. And if you're confident in at least two or three things, you'll usually get the victory. So I'm kind of leaning towards Casey O'Neal in this fight, because I think Casey O'Neal is in a mindset too. Like, this is the stuff you can't teach, right? Like, Casey O'Neal is in a mindset where you can't tell me nothing, right? Like, I'm gonna get this victory. Yeah, and like Gary said, like, Jennifer Maia doesn't really have the KO power. And if Casey O'Neal pushes this fight, like, she's not gonna get any leverage for KO power. Like, she wants to get off quick combinations, right? Quick combinations move. So some of those shots aren't really gonna have any heavy concussiveness to it. So it's like Casey can walk through some of those, or she could just stop the output. She could stop the output. Kind of leaning towards Casey O'Neill. This I might have to go with Casey, man, because I think her mindset is different, man. I think sometimes Jennifer Maia just be letting up on us, man. Like, she's got a lot of tools, much like Andrea Lee, but then boom, you see her lose, man, when she shouldn't lose. And yeah, so far, like with all of the young girls, they've been winning, man. Like the Blanchfields, the Ebos, the Grassos, they've been taking over these old heads. Let's see if Casey O'Neill can keep it going, man. If she keeps it going, then this division is really, really, really gonna be in for a treat. I'm telling you, man. Like when this division gets some of these old heads out, it's really gonna start to pop it now, man. It is. But yeah, that's the one I looked out. I was never locked in on Jennifer Maia, so I'm gonna say Casey O'Neill in this one, man. Because even when I think about it, yes, like Jennifer at this point, if she's had these tools all of this time, why has she not? Why is she still not? Why has she not been even known either? Like, why does she not beat Minoan or Chikay? That's something I had to ask myself. I was like, when I saw Minoan was matched up with Jennifer Maia, I was like, okay, yeah, I think Minoan's got this because she's just in that mind frame, right? She didn't have as much experience as Jennifer Maia, but for some reason I knew she won. And that's kind of how I'm looking at Casey O'Neill. Casey O'Neill might not have the same style as Minoan, but I think she has enough skills in here that she's confident with, and she could win this decision over Jennifer Maia. Jennifer Maia is not one to stop. You know, she's durable. You know, she's a durable fighter. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah, Minoan was definitely a bad style matchup for Jennifer Maia. But you never know. It's hard to really say who's a bad style matchup for her now because you know, she didn't come out looking the cleanest in that Jessica I fight. I mean, Jessica I was bleeding in that fight, but that's still one to kind of look at, you know. Gabby said even if O'Neill doesn't win, her name will still be relevant. Yeah, that's true. I think her name will still be relevant for sure. Because this is a step up for her. You know, she's been out for like a year too, you know. She's been out for like a year. So it is one of them situations where it's a learning experience. All right. But yeah, I think that's all I got on this one, y'all. I'm about to get up out of here. We talked a good little 2 hours again. And yeah, that's where I'm at with these picks. I'm gonna go with Juju in this fight, man. These unranked fights, I'm telling you, man. Some of these unranked fights, they're hard to pick. I'm gonna pick Juju because she's better for the division. I'm gonna go with my girl JoJo. And I think this one I might lean towards Casey O'Neill. I might lean towards Casey O'Neill on this. We never know with this pick. I might say, nope, I'm going with this one. This card starts, let's see, UFC 286 starts at 1 p.m., just so y'all remember. So 1 p.m., the very first fight is Juju versus Macedo. So no need to wait. You know, no, there's no waiting. No need to wait around. Turn your TV on. It's the first fight. JoJo and Lana Carolina is the third fight, so you ain't got to wait too long for that one. Jennifer Maia and Casey's on the main card, so that won't be until like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, 6 o'clock by then. All right. Who's going to step in and fight Brogan? Oh, yeah, Leon Nas out, right? Who can fight Brogan Sanchez? Teresa Bleda, right? Bleda could fight her. Bleda, Victoria Leonardo. Who else? Who else is there? Victoria Leonardo, uh, Teresa Bleda on a short notice. So was Leon now fighting at 125? Sink said, did you talk about Poliana versus Dakota? I didn't really. I haven't talked about that fight. Yeah, I might save it for the next one. I'm not too sure about that one, man. I'm kind of 50-50 on Poliana and Dakota. You know, Dakota's a very good striker. Sometimes, I think she's lacking some head movement. She can still get hit. Poliana got a little pop to her shot too. And I think Poliana Viana would favor on the ground too, a little bit more. But we'll see. Yeah. Sing. I'm kind of looking at Poliana Viana a little bit too. I like Dakota. I want Dakota to win because just gotta like her. But honestly, Poliana has a great chance to win that. Yeah, he says Suarez versus Brogan, man. Shoot, Suarez is gonna hurt somebody. Let me see. Montana. I don't think about Montana. I don't think Montana should fight. She just had a rough loss. She might. Because what is that going to do for BJ? It's just going to be another fight. Like, let's say she goes in there, beats Brogan, who's never had a UFC fight. What does that do for her? What does that do for her at this point? Like, Montana needs to, be stepping it up against these other fighters. Like, yeah, it's money, but like, what is this fight with Brogan going to do for Montana? We just gonna say the same thing. Oh, she beat Brogan. Be like, can she beat JJ Aldridge? Can she beat um, who else? Miranda? Can she beat Natalia Silva? I don't know. Nah, it'll put her back in the win column, but like for what's it worth though? Really, like what's it worth? To me, it's just not worth anything because she's fighting somebody just coming into the UFC. She needs to be beating fighters that are experienced in the UFC at this point. Yeah, I think Brogan might get pulled. Like they might not see it as like this big card or big fight anyway, so they might just pull her off the card. They might just pull her off the card. Yeah, Bleda is definitely one I would say. Yeah, so I say Bleda or Victoria Leonardo would be a good step in for her if they want that fight. Oh yeah, the Russian Ronda Rousey. Somebody brought her up early. I don't know if it was you, Gabby. The Russian Ronda Rousey. Yeah, she's at flyweight, right? Russian Ronda Rousey is a flyweight. Irina Alexeva, she's like 4-1 too, so there's still a lot to be seen about her. So she's a judoka. We gotta see what's up with her. She signed a contract with the UFC, and they haven't put any news out about her is who she's fighting first. So we'll see. Yeah, I kind of lean towards, I can see leaning towards Poland. I'm not sure though, man. It is 50-50, but Poliana been looking the part, man. She's been looking a little bit sharper. Gary said they should be taking a Brogan fight. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I just would rather see Montana take something else, man. I just don't think that's good. Haley Cohen versus Vidal, Tamira Vidal. Who do you got? Honestly, kind of leaning towards Cohen a little bit. Just a little bit. Yeah, they got that right. Haley Cohen's rescheduled, right? Chiason is calling for smoke. Yeah, I know. Macy Chiason calling for it. Chelsea Chandler said she won that fight. Yeah, I like that. That's the type of stuff that we need, though, man. Like that is the type of stuff that we need. Macy Chiason, Chelsea Chandler. Featherweight. Do it at featherweight. Let's get this thing going at featherweight, right? I like that featherweight fight between Chiason. I think Chelsea Chandler wins though if it goes to the ground, man. I honestly do. Even possibly stand up at this point, man. Like, Chiason hasn't really landed them bombs like she used to, man. Even like knees to the body, like her clinch game has kind of been non-existent, you know? Yeah, it is 50-50. Cohen and Vidal is 50-50. They're both newcomers. Not really seeing anything off the charts with either one of them that stands out. Macy Chiason, though, has experience over Chelsea, but I just think on the ground, I think Chelsea Chandler would be I'd be in favor of her, to win that fight. But I'm gonna get up out of here, get something to eat. I will catch y'all at 9:00. Like always, make sure y'all hit that like button and subscribe. And like I said, y'all can subscribe to this show on these platforms. Like if you don't listen on YouTube, go to iTunes, Spotify, all of that. Wherever you listen to podcasts. And BJ said Chandler got them bricks. Yeah, she got bricks now. She got bricks, especially at 145. She ain't no joke. But yeah, I'm about to get up out of here. If y'all missed it, pull it back up later and comment. And yeah, we're gonna get on later and check out this Invicta card until I pass out. I'm gonna be up for the whole card. I'm gonna try to be up for the whole card, y'all. Like always, Combo Breaker 99. Shout out to the chat. Subscribe. Peace.